of these cameras is active? The middle one.
The middle one, yeah.
Hi, I'm Josh Goding. Today I'm here with Tyler Smith, a friend of mine who is an avid writer, and he's been active doing writing for several decades. And we're going to have a conversation about science fiction and the process of writing today. So, how you doing?
Great. I'm doing good.
Good. Should we just start right in?
Yeah, let's go right in. Yeah.
Okay, so Tyler, tell us a little bit about your background, your life experiences, and your writing experiences.
Well, I growing up, my dad was actually an electrical engineer at NASA. As a kid, I got to watch the Apollo rockets take off from my backyard. I could actually see them better from my backyard than I could from the TV monitor that I was watching it from. So, so it's no surprise that I ended up loving science fiction, loving science, and the whole, world of science and science fiction. The first movie I saw was Planet of the Apes. And it's funny because as a kid, everyone wore NASA shirts. Everyone wore NASA hats. So the heroes were astronauts in the film, and they wore NASA equipment. And as a kid, I thought everyone worked for NASA because everyone I knew worked for NASA. All my neighbors worked for NASA. You see what I'm saying? And my neighbors' kids were astronauts that I ended up hanging out with and playing with. So I traveled around the country quite a bit growing up. My dad had different jobs. So I got to see a wide variety of places and people. But also I was an infantry rifleman in the Army. I went to college at Indian Hills, and also here in Iowa City at the University of Iowa, and which I really loved. Great college, great people. And, and I've had, I've done construction. I've had a wide variety of experiences, and, that's one of the things that's really helped me as a writer.
So you've worked on 4 projects that have won Hugos and some other awards, is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct, yeah. Well, it's interesting because, sometimes I'll work on a project, usually I work as a ghostwriter, and, they might come to me and they'll say, we want a word other than android for this science fiction project we're doing. And my job is to come up with something that's close to android, but not android. You see what I'm saying? So sometimes they want you only for one word, maybe. Or they might want you for one line. They're stuck with a scene. They want a line to end the scene with. They don't have it. And then they come to you for that. And it's funny because it's a real honor. Whenever people come to me for that, it's always a real honor. I'm feel very flattered. Out of everyone, they came to me. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Is it okay to go off script? Or, so how do you get involved in that type of thing? How do you get chosen to do that?
Well, basically it's, there's a saying, it's not what you know, but who you know. Mm-hmm. I met some people that were in the business at a very early age, and, they liked me, and I did some writing for them, and they were impressed. That's basically what it came down to.
So you've worked as a script doctor, and I think we touched on that a little bit. Is there more you want to say about what a script doctor does?
Well, basically, a script doctor is he's like a mechanic, where he basically takes something that they got and he fixes it up. Sometimes I've done a lot of work on a script. There's a project that I came in as a script doctor for Raj Rahi. He's a director out in New Jersey. And we've been friends for a couple of years, and we like each other, and we respect each other. But Raj, he brought me in because he didn't have an ending for his movie, so I wrote him, basically 20 pages. And he took those 20 pages. He liked the ending. He liked what I wrote. He changed it to fit the script and the characters a little more because, I didn't know these people. You see what I'm saying? They're based on real people. So he tweaked what I wrote, but basically I came in at that point, wrote 20 pages. So a script doctor can write one word, a script doctor can write a line, or a script doctor can write, a good chunk of the screenplay. It just depends on what they need. So basically you tweak what they've written. It's interesting because over the years, but I have written plays that have gotten produced. One play that I got produced was actually in Iran. Yeah, which surprised me because they didn't tell me about it. I found it out years later. I was actually talking with the Saudi ambassador, and I asked him if he ever read my play West Bankside Story, and he said to me, "I've seen it." And I'm like, "Really? Who put it on?" I said, "The Iranians?" He says, "Yes, they did." Huh. And they put it on 1 month after I wrote the play. I didn't even give it to them. Somehow they got a hold of a copy. Huh. If you think about it, to audition the actors, train them, rehearse them, get it ready in a month after it's written. I mean, in a way, I took it as a compliment, that they, saying that they wanted to do it so quickly. But one of the reasons they didn't contact me to tell me, I found this out later, was because the play was somewhat controversial, the way I wrote it. I wasn't thinking of politics as I was writing it. I was just thinking of how to do like a funny little comedy spoof. West Bank Side Story, just so you know, so you're not lost, it's a spoof on West Side Story where I have Saddam Hussein and Ayatollah Khomeini play the two gang leaders, and I do it as a musical. Except I change around the lyrics instead of Riff singing "When you're a jet, you stay a jet." Saddam Hussein singing "When you're a thug, you stay a thug." I thought the play was quite funny, and other people did too. But the thing was I was making fun of the Iranians in the play, somewhat, but I portrayed Khomeini in sympathetic light. Obviously, the Iranians thought so because they put it on, But I make fun of the Iranians a little bit in the play, but the thing that I didn't realize when I was writing it was that the Iranians, in the Arab culture and the Persian culture, the Iranian culture, which is close to the Arabs, but not quite the same, the women, their opinions carry no real weight. And I have the women criticizing the Iranians. You see what I'm saying? So the fact that it's being criticized by a woman, it's like, oh, that's just the cackling of women. We give it no importance. But I didn't realize that when I wrote it, that it was politically correct according to their ideology. You see what I'm saying? And afterwards, I was like, oh, I didn't realize what I'd done. But I make fun of the Iranians in it too a little bit. But I tried to portray Khomeini in a sympathetic light, and I'd studied Khomeini, and he had done some things that I thought were admirable, but he made some things that I thought were also mistakes too. But overall, I thought that he got a bad rap in the West. He's not the bad guy that our own government tries to make him out to be.
Do you know how they got a hold of the play?
Well, I never found that out, but somehow I got a hold of it, But obviously they must have got a hold of it pretty fast if they had it in the theater 1 month after I wrote it, which in a way I take as a huge compliment. But but the thing is I've had of the plays I've had produced, I've had 3 produced as plays, and I've had another 2 screenplays that I wrote produced at. The story idea was mine, and the movie was mine. The screenplay was mine. Mm-hmm. So it was really my blueprint. It was my baby. But the thing is that's 5. That's actually a pretty good track record if you think about it. I think Joe Hesterhouse, of the things he's written, and these are spec projects, mind you. And by spec, I mean a spec project is a project that the writer comes up with on his own. He's like, I'd like to see this. And he writes it up and just hopes someone else wants to see it too. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And that doesn't happen that often in the business. It really is rare. So, it's funny because Esterhaus was at 6 and I was like at 5. So I'm only 1 behind Esterhaus, but I'm still young. I'm trying to catch up with him, Maybe